Alright, welcome to my channel. I'm Nate McComb, and today we're going to look at how I put the O3 unit on the Diatone Roma L3 and some of the equipment that I used, what flight controller, batteries, props, how I got the LEDs to work, and some of the links, and we're going to dive right in and take a closer look and start breaking down some parts and giving you an idea of how things are hooked up. Alright, let's start taking this apart. Alright, so while I'm breaking it down, we'll talk about, let's go with GPS first since we can see that right here on top. That is the HGLRC, it's the M100 GPS. I tried a couple others. This one seemed to have pretty good connectivity. It takes about a minute and a half, 2 minutes or so for the first initial go. And then within like 2 to 3 seconds after that, you start to get full satellite lock. Usually we're looking at, I don't know, between 10 and 18 guaranteed, it seems like, as a minimum. So satellites lock in fairly quick, and it's pretty good GPS. You can do flips and rolls and stuff, doesn't cut out, unlike some other GPSs that I've tried. It also supports Galileo, which works really well. Not only an iNav, it's what I use on my wings. This one, and I got another one I'm building, and another one that I fly. They all have the same GPS on them. Alright, so we'll get this top cover taken off. So all the TPU stuff I printed out myself and designed. Let's see. Let's take the rest of these screws, or take the screws all the way out here. Try to make this quick. Alright. That'll slide back, and then the GPS pops off, and then the whole top plate comes right out. So I run the battery cable through the top little hole here and out the top. Set this aside. Alright, so for the flight stack, I'm running the Mamba MK4, which is the F722 Mini, with the Mamba F40 ESC stack on the bottom. I do have a Maxus BEC in here. That's doing the LEDs. That's what's sending the 5 volts out, running all of those. So if they get hit or damaged, doesn't take out the flight controller, we could hopefully still fly if something was to short out or whatnot. This would eventually overheat, but this is running off of the VBATs, so hopefully that gets destroyed and not the flight controller. GPS. Back here on the back is where I've got the Crossfire. That's what I'm running off the single antenna here. It's the Nano Pro. Sitting in here sideways, kind of tucked in. I guess you can see it a little bit more right here and off this side. You got the little beeper battery, finder thingy, whatever you want to call it. As far as antennas go for the O3, it's the Osprey 5.8 gig. Left-hand polarized. These are the 90mm with the UFL connector in it. So I just replaced the stock O3 antenna with those two, ran them through and made this TPU mount in the back that kind of holds everything in. It holds the O3 Air Unit, the 2 antennas, and then the Crossfire antenna. And this is the actual antenna that I'm using off the Crossfire antenna. It's one of these little whips. So I get pretty good reception off of all of this. Gone out pretty good distances. It's what's been chasing my wing as I'm flying. So normally it's Dre that's running this 3-inch, but it's been working out great for him. As far as LEDs go, this is the actual LED controller. I'll have a link to it off of Amazon. It's only a few bucks. And what I ended up doing was I was able to shave down the back side of the circuit board here. And I'll show you some pictures here of what it looked like originally, and then I had to put a jumper wire through in order to get to bring the positive 5 volts across to the actual voltage side of the circuit. The actual chip's right underneath here on the right hand side and the other side of the buttons. So power comes in on the far left. You got some IO here, the main IC, and then you got a data out, power and ground. So you can wire power and ground from either side of the little circuit there, or you can kind of shave things off. It's kind of a mirror, or they're duplicate pins going across, so you can use one or the other. So I made all the connections on the output side. Power comes in, ground, and the data out comes out the center here. There is another pin. I'm not sure what that does, if it's even used for anything. It just may not be within the firmware of the chip on supporting anything. So as far as motors, I'm running the EMAX 1404 3700 kV EMAX motors. I've been trying the EMAX props for the first time. I guess they're the 3-inch 2.4 by 3s. Normally I've been running the HQ props. They're the 1.8 or even the 3 also. So it seems like all 3 of these are really good props to run with. Another thing I'm running is the UMA grip. I just cut off a small little strip, put that down. Stops becoming tacky. You can just wipe it with a wet rag and then let it dry and it becomes tacky again. Great stuff. Holds the battery in well, keeps it from sliding around. Also made a little capacitor mount, and then underneath the motors I've actually got spacers that will go and sit in between the actual carbon fiber frame and the motor. That seems to help reduce vibrations. There was a little bit of adjustment I had to do in the PID that seemed to also help with reducing some vibrations that I was getting, seeing in the O3. Just basic playback of the footage, not even running it through gyroflow or anything, was getting some weird shakes and vibrations in it. So between those isolation pads that you 3D print out that goes underneath the motors and a little bit of PID tuning, I'll have here on the screen. I think it was just lowering the I and D term, or upping it. I think it went from 1.0 to 1.2 on those two, and that was really about it. As far as TPU mount stuff goes, this is the actual mount. It's kind of really soft mounted in there. It almost wants to float. I found if you make it too rigid that it a lot of vibrations still come through. So I opened up the holes quite a bit and it kind of just floats in there, and that works out really well. There's no vibrations that come through. The image is smooth. From there you can throw it in the gyroflow and then really smooth it out. As far as motor guards go, I made these. So you got some basic ones that are, actually I think this is a failed one. It'd really be this size, just doesn't have the guard that goes around it. So you could technically take the piece and 3D print it and actually push it down into the build platform a little bit and actually cut off the bottom. So you can change kind of the height if you only wanted it to be a couple millimeters versus I think 4, maybe 5 millimeters is what I have for the little skids there on the bottom. So you got either the motor guard version or without that I designed within the file. You got the antenna for the air unit. These I've already broke one, so I made little TPU guards that go around those. All of these are all within the one file off of printables. So if you want a link, it's down in the description. And I believe that pretty much wraps up. The LEDs, I'll have a link to those down in the description, so you can take a look at that if you want to order some. They're a little bit on the pricey side because of how small they are. The side ones are 3mm. The bottoms are 4mm. You could technically use the 3mm for everything if you wanted to. The fronts, I put white LEDs on, just to kind of see things when I get a little closer. And then the tops are all UV. and that kind of lights up the props and gives it kind of a different look. You got to think of how you're going to route your data going in and out and back and forth. So for example, it comes in from the controller here, goes all the way to the front. It Y's off, gets just split up right here and goes to the inputs on the bottom side here, comes down, there's a jumper that goes over and then hits the side of this strip. Same thing here. So it's a mirrored image. You're just taking this, wiring it off, soldering the two inputs in together, and then from there on it makes a jumper up, another jumper over here up, runs up the side, jumper underneath the motor mount, comes down. That's what this purple jumper is here. It's the same thing over here, jumps to the last final strip and then goes back up to the motor mounts. And that's where it just dead ends. There's nothing else past it. And that's how the LEDs work. So as far as power and ground and distring those out, kind of just split it up. You don't have to do positive and negative going up to each. I did a negative here and a positive to here, and then take the negative down here, jump it around. So you're kind of splitting up the load across them. That seems to work fairly well, and kind of being able to organize power coming in. As far as the back strips go, power comes in here on the UV and then jumps around and then goes to the other side. You got negative, positive, and then so on and so forth. Works its way around, alternating. You'll probably see here in the picture. I'll see if I have a picture of it before all the tape and everything goes up so you can see what it looks like. But that's really about it. Hopefully this video isn't too long. I believe I covered everything. Batteries. Let's see. The GMBs seems to be what I'm running for the most part. The 930s aren't too bad. A little on the low side. The 1500s have been phenomenal. And these are the 1000s that are really good. I misordered these are 1500s, but they had an XT60, so luckily I was able to just order some XT30s, cut them off, solder in some new cables. These actually fit fairly well and run really well too, so I'm kind of excited to try these out some more. These I just got in recently, so we'll be trying those some more and seeing how well and everything else. So hopefully this gave you a little bit of insight of how I set up this Roma L3 and all the equipment that I used. I tried to do semi on the budget side, but once you start adding all the LEDs and whatnot, it kind of bumped it up a little bit, and I decided to upgrade the flight controller just a little bit too. So, but other than that, hope you enjoyed, and see you out in the field. Have a good one.